Joe Stalin would be proud. What else about that? You know, all the silly things they did. That dopey Cassidy, the young girl they brought in who looked pretty, so everybody listened to her. That deranged judge who was so full of hate that it just, oh my goodness gracious, he couldn't pull himself together. And then whoever the hell this guy was. I mean, just a crazy cast of characters, totally scripted.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here. Republicans obviously aren't watching the January 6 hearings. Most of them are getting it through Fox News snippets and social media clips, but none of them are sparing the actual time to sit and watch because they've been told it's nothing but scripted lies. They've completely denied the legitimacy of the hearings, so their reactions to Pence possibly testifying is downright atrocious. I mean, Pence hasn't even confirmed it yet, but he's still getting criticized for it.
The American people did not take this seriously, all right? So, such a bad committee, undemocratic, right? Who seems to be interested in testifying? This guy.
If there was an invitation to participate, I would consider it, but you've heard me mention the Constitution a few times this morning. On the Constitution, we have three co-equal branches of government. And any invitation to be directed to me, I would have to reflect on that.
You'd have to check the Constitution and reflect on it. Mike Pence, this guy, forgive me, is wooden and weird and not ready, just not ready. And how dare he entertain going to this crazy, undemocratic January 6th committee, which didn't even ask.
Now, me personally, I'm no fan of Pence, and I hate him and his party, but I can spare some grudging respect if he chooses to testify. I'll always support a sensible decision on either side of the aisle. Any GOP member that doesn't wholeheartedly commit themselves to Trump can be tolerable at times.
You know why he wants to go to this committee? All right? Because once again, they'll talk about what a hero he was in the basement, on the phone. Did you see? I don't know what the big deal is about that picture. Do you? But anyway, they love it. They love it.
But it's ridiculous that his colleagues and other right-wing pundits don't think it's sensible to partake in the hearings. They're actively denying that there is anything real in those hearings. So they're attacking Pence, one of their own, in a rabid rage.
I am still disappointed in Mike Pence. You can be a patriot. You can be a good American. You can just believe that under the Electoral Count Act of 1887, he had more options on January 6th than to just stand there.
I, Paul Gosar from Arizona.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Arizona rise?
I rise for myself and 60 of my colleagues to object to the counting of the electoral ballots from Arizona.
Is the objection in writing and signed by a senator?
Yes, it is.
It is.
Looked at the Electoral Count Act of 1887. There were options. Look, it's perhaps debatable, but it's not un-American to say that, yeah, these votes, certain concerns in places like Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, making sure the electors were sound, sending them back to the state capitals, that's not necessarily overturning an election. That's making sure the election was actually free and fair and valid.
More than a lot of people, Pence has reason to be at the hearings. There were rioters in the building 40 feet away chanting to hang him. I think it's normal to feel endangered by that point. Trump called him wimp for not doing more to overturn the election and practically sent more rioters after him. But nope, any naysaying against Trump is now impossible in this environment. That's why so many right-wing commentators look down on Pence's willingness to testify. They think that's tantamount to absolute betrayal of their leader. Any Republican who wasn't willing to support and participate in insurrection against the government is now no longer a true Republican, according to the MAGA people that have overwhelmed the party. But you know what? These MAGA people are the ones who aren't true Republicans. Democrats and Republicans coexist because we live in a democratic republic, better known as a representative democracy. Being a Republican in America should mean that you believe in our government, at least some aspect of it, and these MAGA people clearly don't. I hope Pence testifies. I think it's the right thing to do. By testifying, he's saying he believes in some degree that the hearing is real and legitimate. He's sending a message to those Republicans on the fringe, the ones that are too far gone, that we can still trust the American government, or that we can at least trust that we are having free and fair elections in this country. If Republicans ever want to get out of the MAGA pit they've fallen into and become a respectable party once again, the ones who don't agree with Trump need to make a stand. They need to genuinely break away from the MAGA cult. That's the only way to salvage the GOP, and that's a fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.